Okay, while waiting for you to set up, let me introduce you first to the
Okay.
students. Yeah, okay. All right, so thank you, Mr. Ridwan and the students. So basically we have year 2 and also year 3 student with us today.
Okay.
As we all know, today is all about like a design workshop, okay, which Mr. Ridwan will introduce to the students on the topics of medium, where the new, I mean the explorations of the design process, which I think it will be benefit to the students to try it on and apply into design. We have with us today Mr. Ridwan, or IDR Redzwan, is actually the registered interior designer under Lembaga Architect Malaysia, and he is active in a lot of art, sketch, and whatever not, and he's a practitioner in industries and also like in the education field. Yeah, was one of the
practitioner. Yeah, I practiced last time. Yeah.
Yeah. So now he's a senior lecturer in Chalmers University. I hope that the students would enjoy the sessions and get the outcome for the students to try on. Yep. So I pass the floor to Mr. Ridwan. Yeah.
Okay. Can you let me
share?
Yep.
Wait.
Can I share the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Can you see my screen?
Yep. Very well.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Redzwan, as mentioned just now. I'm just a very what we call just a designer. Anything that I can assist with our colleagues from other universities and friends, I'd be gladly to help in that. Okay, as mentioned as earlier in the introduction, this is a workshop. It is called Medium. And let us see what is the medium all about. Okay. Now, when we talk about design, the basic process, project characteristics in the design process, as we all know it, we'll have a very basic project brief, program, site analysis, conceptual look and feel, project developments, detail, design, and final presentation. Now, those are the basic characteristics that we always go through, what we always produce, and what we have to go through with, from differs from most probably from second semester until a year and so on. So this is what we always see in terms of the basic understanding of what project is all about. Okay. Now, when we look at this one, now, if there's a way of how we can offer a design proposal, it's just slightly a different twist. Okay. So we would look at it in something which is, I would say, we can offer a project to a client, something as an added value to the project. What is that offering? What is that thing that we are looking at? Okay, before even the project starts. This is something that I've managed to experience while I was working last time. I think not many projects, but then one or two projects that the proposed client wanted to have. Okay, so I started to think about it and start to implement it in some of the work that is done by my students. And then this is what we always come up with, the normal things: the project brief, program conceptual, project developments, detail design, final presentation. What if we can offer or maybe produce an offerings, okay, that could be becoming a part of the project itself. Okay. Now, again, it is an added value to the project, a catalyst, a substance that increases the rate of the chemical reaction without itself undergoing any permanent chemical change. That is the direct translation from a dictionary online. So, you know, when we do things, we tend to do it the normal way, because we are, you know, since we are doing interior architecture or interior design, so those the normal thing that we see in terms of all these things here is normal. Okay, but the offering is something that you know, could be again the added value to the project itself. Okay, so now before we go further into the idea of the medium, okay, let's just take a look at why we need this kind of exposure. Yeah, it's just a little workshop that we are going through now. Okay, basically it is just to promote awareness about what designers can do and what we can gain from or with design itself. Because sometimes when we look at design, it is always like a very you know, direct way of how we look at design, but there are more things that design can offer besides the whole design process and so on, and activities. Okay, now we have to understand that design does not only belong to designers. Design nowadays is you know, belong to business, to business professionals, entrepreneurs, you know, stakeholders, and so on and so forth. Because if you notice, for the past 20 years, design has become one of the key subject matter in design courses or design professional courses in Harvard, also some parts of the world, especially in the US and also UK and Canada. And okay, so now the idea of design, because it is a vision of the art of seeing what is invisible to us. Now that is what design usually is, because the way we see things, the way we look at things is a little bit different from what normal people would do. I guess by now, all of you would, I would say that the way we look at things, especially when you do your project development, site analysis, and you tend to look at different things that normal people won't do. You know, now we look at materials. We look at, you know, materials by looking at it. We touch the materials. We smell the materials. We touch different textures, design, what we call detailings, and so on. And we just have to, you know, to touch certain things or look at things differently from what the rest of the world would look like. Okay, so the vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. it has a deep meaning, but maybe what we are going through with is actually something that we can try to ponder among our thoughts and our day-to-day activities. Okay, now in this particular thing, now let me see how can we look at how we should design the way the normal thing and how it goes. Right now, I'm going to go with a very simple example. Now, when you look at this, 5 plus 5 equals to, can anyone give an answer?
10.
10, right? That is the very simple thing that we always do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's nothing wrong with it. Although, sometimes some people, some guys would be a bit more cheeky and try to give a very different answer. But the normal thing and the way we think is always, when you talk about 5 plus 5 is always equals to 10. Okay, that is just one way of looking at things. But in design, what we should ask ourselves usually is something like this: what plus what equals to 10? Because we already know the answer, but it's just that we need, when we mix the two question marks together, it can varies. It can come up with a variety of answers. It can be 2 plus 8 equals 10. It can 6 plus 4 equals 10. It can 9 plus 1, 7 plus 3 equals 10. I mean, there's so many unlimited answers. So in a way, this is what we need to look at design in this sense. Okay, because what we understood earlier with 5 plus 5 is something that what we call very basic framing of the frame of the question. Okay, what we need to look at is try to reframe how we see things. Okay, by looking at things differently, we can think differently, we can act differently, and we can get different answers. Okay, so it doesn't have to be sometimes a very direct translation of what we see, because sometimes what we see, we always tend to just to answer our brief from the client, from the lecturers, from the project itself, and so on. And then when you say, okay, the project needs for you to design a chair for this particular, so everyone will come up with all these things. But what we need to understand is how we reframe back the question. Okay, not just getting the answers, right? So let's take a look at example number 2. Okay. Now, when we look at this, we always come up with the very basic idea of what the brief is all about. The brief is stated here is design a car for me to get to Port Klang. Okay, so this is the very basic frame of what we see and what we always get. Okay, but what we try to do in design is try to reframe back the question, okay, by looking things like this. Okay, now that is our frame of mind. Okay, that is the very basic idea of what we always see. But the way we reframe back the question should be something like this: design a transportation for me to get to Port Klang. Okay, now if you notice back, okay, I'm going to turn back this one. Now, when I say design me a car to get to Port Klang, all of you, okay, will come up with hundreds or thousands ideas of a car. But when I say design a transportation for me to get to Port Klang, a car is just one type of transportation. Okay, you can try to reframe the question by looking at, it doesn't have to be a car. It could be a rocket ship, be a helicopter, it could be a boat. If there's a sea or a river nearby, you can get it, get onto it. You can design a bullet train. You can design, the possibilities are endless. Now that's how we should see design, and especially when we look at the question, we should try to reframe back what the question is all about, and try to put it in a different reframe situation and so on. Okay. Now, so that is the way the medium can be. How you look at the thing, how you can try to offer a different set of ideas, or how we look at things in a different way. All right. Okay. And let's take a look at example number 3. Okay. If can, all of you take out your pens and papers. I think Mr. Hafiz has mentioned earlier. Just get some pens and papers, or whatever thing that you can try to grab at the moment. Just get a piece of paper, and we'll do this one in less than 3 minutes. Okay. Now, when we look at a question, okay, or a frame of mind, discover a new way to enjoy your meal. Okay, how would you look at it? Okay, this is a very simple thing, because you have to understand. Okay, the limit time here is 3 minutes. Okay, don't need to think because there's no trick question over here. What you can try to do is, in 3 minutes time, what can you think? Okay, I'm timing this one at the moment. Can we start from now? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. Okay. So try to imagine what can you think in 3 minutes of how you would enjoy your meal. Okay. I hope all of you should try to just doodle. No need to draw very nicely. Well, doodling would be much more easier, rather than just what we call. I mean, writing would be easier, yes, of course. But then we are just designers. We should try to sketch and try to look at things differently. Okay. Okay, discover a new way to enjoy your meal. How would you do that? Can we sleep on it? Can we have somebody to what we call feed us, spoon feed us? Oh, that would be a lovely at this point of time. Something like that. You can try your most imaginative mindset or wild ideas that you can think of for this one. Okay, you got another 1 minute 30 seconds. Hafiz, the Zoom should have a sort of a timer with the music on.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Yeah, because boring.
Right. Okay, wait, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me. Like,
Tak apa lah. Dah nak habis dah. Kejap je.
yeah, later.
Don't worry. Yeah. Because this kind of stuff, it's just a very simple exercise, But then I just need you guys to participate. That's all. Because if I were to do this one on a face-to-face punya workshop, then it will be much more interesting because then we'll see
more hands-on and
some more hands-on and so on.
Yes.
But anyway, I think this is my second or the third time I'm doing something like this on a workshop. Okay, so you get ready. We're finishing up in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, pens down.
Done.
Okay. Yeah, done. Okay. Well, I'm not sure whether some of you can show on your screen some of your work. Just flash on to the screen if you can, and show your little lovely sketch on how you do this.
I allow multiple participants to share if you guys wanted to share.
Yeah.
Screen. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if any one of you are willing to share some of your screen whatsoever, so you may do so. Anyone? Don't be shy. I'm not going to eat you. I just had my lunch.
Yeah.
Anyone?
It's either you can share screens or your.
Okay lah.
Tak ada.
Okay. Hey, Fakul
wanted to share.
Ini champion ni. Oh. Ini tak payah tunjuk lah. Udah dia ni yang cukup. Ini kalau tunjuk kan semua orang akan balik lah.
Just want to say hi.
Okay. Hi. This is I think all of you.
Talk to you later.
Yeah. This is Fakul, my long lost colleague. Dah lama tak jumpa. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, when we look at this thing, of the thing that you see on the screen, discover a new way to enjoy your meal. Okay, that is actually what you see in your frame of mind at the moment. And what you try to look at, you're trying to reframe it with the context. Okay, a new way to enjoy your meal on a moving train. Okay, you may try another 3 minutes more, because this time around the context is putting you have to reframe back the question and try to put it into a context where it is more focused, it has a bit more characteristics and what you can try to understand from the question itself. Okay, then you will start to think a bit more different. Okay, now this is where your ideas would try to be a bit more focused, because if I were to put in the question earlier, all of you will go as one, but now everyone would have the idea of a moving train. I mean, we have a common idea, we have a common context. So the reframe is slightly a bit different, but it is more of a focus situation. Okay, so try another 3 more minutes to go with this, starting from now. Okay.
then I should try to play the music then.
Boleh main tak? Because I'm sharing, so tu kata dia punya platform patutnya Zoom should be allowable, allow music play while waiting or something like this, because then that will be much more easier. Because if it's in a workshop situation, aku dah blast music lah besar-besar. Okay.
Hey Malaysia, I'm
Boleh lah.
out right now. Hope you enjoy.
Okay. Another 1.5 minutes. Okay. Have your ideas and how you look at things from a different perspective. And how you look at things from a different perspective. Wait, ada echo. Cik. Wait, ada echo. Oh, bagus ni. Senang nak dengar suara online. Okay. We should try to finishing up in 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, pens down. Now, what you see just now is discover a new engine. And the second one is on a moving train. The context and the thing and how we look at it plays a major role. Now the key things here that we see is, of course, the question, but we need to look at it where the time frames is also important. Now, when it comes to, like, for example, in here, it's 3 minutes. It should think of course, should be what we can try to capture in that frame of mind. When we're given like 3 hours or 30 minutes, our set of mind will be a bit different. So we will be allowed to think a bit wilder than normal. Okay. Now this is what we call reframe with context. Okay. Now we have to understand that design is not just to solve problems. Okay. Whatever thing that we have understood before this, design is not just to solve problems, but it is also to find opportunities. Sometimes opportunities means that we do not have to become the actual problem solving at the moment, but maybe it can become something that you can think of or use it in a different future. Now this is what we call, to some people, they would keep it as like a bank of knowledge, or maybe a think tank situation. They keep this and they can use it in future reference. Okay, and then let's get into the exercise and the project that we are looking at. Okay, Mr. Hafiz has managed to give me a brief of what the project is all about. Now, there's a combination of urban farm, food hall, and co-working space. Okay. Now, from this kind of level, okay, the first question is, when we look at these things, is what we call, are we designing a new space, or are we getting a new idea for the project? Okay, so just have that in your frame of mind. Urban farm, food hall, and co-working space. Okay, is it a new space or a new design idea? Okay, so let me stop share this one, and let me share something. Okay, I'm going to open my screen. Okay. Oops. Let me change this one. Okay. Okay. Hall and a co. Space or a new idea. That is what we can try to establish. Okay, let me just change this one first. Okay, when we look at urban farm and so on, of course, the thing that we always see is, of course, vegetables. We can see plants, pots. We'll see water irrigation. Okay, we can see, a lot of other things that we can see, maybe a greenhouse, the way the plant is being planted and so on. So there's a lot of things that we can try to list down over here. Okay, again, when we look at food hall, then we can see display racks. We can see aisles. We can see storage. We can see, a proper light fittings. Okay, we can see F&B area. We can see cold rooms, cold storage. Sometimes they have this place for, for so many things as well. So, if I were to list down this thing, again, I will start to look at things in a different way as well. Now, again, when we talk about the co-working space, right? Then I will start to look at things. I will start to see desks, tables, okay, office equipment. I'll see, computers and hardware and software. I can see what we call organized layout. Okay, I can see dispenser. I can see pantry. I can see stationery spaces. All this photocopy and so on, etc. I mean, I can go with the list and go on and so forth and so on. Okay. Now, when we look at this thing, now in terms, of course, you can try to mix. The most logic thing that we can do is we try to capture the idea of this urban farm food hall and of course the co-working space. All right. So if we were to somehow get this thing and try to, oops, yep. Okay, when we look at this like this, we can try to mix and match, and this one. This will be the most easiest answer, and then the way we do things is, we can combine. This is we can hybrid, we can combine. Okay, combine in terms of what? Okay, combine in terms of the what we call the spaces, or we can combine in terms of the activities. Okay, right. And then we talk about again the activities and spaces. Okay, so then this is where some of the things that we look at. Okay, when you combine this kind of stuff, okay, maybe in order for us to go to the let's say I would say this is one way of looking at it. Okay, this is scenario number one. Okay, the first thing that we see is actually the food hall. Okay, and then the food hall, there's activities and so on. Let's say, for example, if you want to take some of your vegetables and so on, this is where you take all your stuff in this urban farm. Okay, and then besides the urban farm, the co-working space is actually is nearby, where it becomes a small area where the food hall is there. Okay, and the question is, what would this space be? Okay, now this particular, what we call this new space, okay, or maybe what we call it a new idea, is common. Okay, this is what I expected, because this formula that we see, okay, this plus whatever it is becomes this one. Okay, but then when we look at, for example, if you come up with an idea of when you enter, let's say, for example, in order for you to to go into this space, okay, then you start to see things. Okay, if I were to go into this space, I will be provided by an apps. Okay, that permits me to go and buy my stuff in the hall. Okay, to ease my shopping. Number one, maybe my F&B, my drinking, my food. Okay, all the things, my stationery. Okay, and my my other activities in the co-working space, activities. Now, this is where the medium, this is what we call the medium. The medium, an offering that we can try to offer with the project. Because at the end of the day, when we look at this thing, it will be, this new space would just be what called, okay, let's change this one. Okay, this new space would just be another interior related project. Okay, you will see tables, chairs, wardrobe, finishing, layout, lighting, and so on. I mean, you just name it, that is what you're going to get. But when we start to look at this one, okay, especially this one itself, okay, then you start to see an idea of how this thing might work. This one, you know, it will ease your shopping, your F&B, your stationery, your ordering, and then at the end of the day, it will bring benefit to the person itself, to the person who's using it, to the person who is occupying it, to the person who is, providing the service of this new space that we are looking for. Okay. Now, this is something that we try to venture, because at the end of the day, we should ask ourselves, who would do this? You know, because we come in, we are in the idea of an era where everything is possible. To learn a coding, to learn. So this is just one thing. This is just one way of looking at this. This one, and apps is something that we can try to consider. There are maybe some other things. Like say, for example, this thing can be, okay, I just put it here, A. This is a proposal A. A proposal B most probably would be something like, okay, a proposal B would be something like, I don't know, maybe it would be a goodie bag. Okay, as you enter this one, you will get a goodie bag, or maybe I don't know, a handy bag. Okay, not just a handy bag, but inside the handy bag there are some information. Okay, or maybe it's a kind of map. Okay, there is some what we call coupons. Okay, that can be done. Now this thing, no, the bag is not the medium, but what is inside the bag, okay, could be the medium. Okay. Now, when we do this kind of proposal to a client, usually a client would be a bit more logic in terms of it, because this one involves dollars and cents. Now, let's say, for example, if we have like 10 different designers, sorry. Okay. Now, what can you see from designer 1, 2, 3, 4, until 10? What you always see, you will always see the same thing. Okay. Some of them we just provide a plan. Some of them will provide, all these perspective drawings, maybe a concept proposal, and so on. But little of them, maybe one or two, would be thinking of the medium. What can you add value to the project. Okay, because this one is something, usually this one will be an afterthought, because this one usually comes from what the client would think of. Okay, this one would come up from the client's brief. But as a designer, the possibility of how we can see things are like this. You know, what can we offer as an added value to the project before the project starts? Okay, yeah. So that's the whole idea of how we should try to look at things from just one perspective. Okay, so are you designing a new space, which is what we commonly do, or we are designing a new idea? Now this is whatever thing that I'm showing you guys, it is not something new. It is not something that I've created and so on. This thing has been years and years done by some of the most profound design companies in the world. Okay, and of course, what I'm referring is actually to this company called IDEO, which is based in Silicon Valley. Now, the best thing about this kind of ideas, it does not come just from one kind of mindset. Okay, when we talk about mindset, okay, although we are, let's say for example, when we do brainstorming, okay, among each other, the set of people or the pool of people that we are dealing with will always have the same mindset. Because why? We are all designers. Okay, but IDEO has already practiced the idea generation or ideation. Okay, by instead of putting just designers, they have business graduates or business professionals. They have anthropologists. They have medical background people. They have what else? Designer. This one. Okay, they have engineers, of course. The list can go on. And then when we set the different mindset of ideas, we'll start to have things a bit more different. Because of course, the project will become more colorful. Because all of these people having different background, different mindsets, okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so when we look at now, this is what we call the big keyword here is called collaboration. You collaborate with different mindset just to get one idea out. Okay, you have different set of mind. You know, all these people maybe have the hundreds of ideas and so on. Okay, this is where I think if you have noticed, there is some what we call generate wild ideas in the beginning. So this is what they are doing in the beginning, and at the end of the day, the ideas would come out from a very big idea to smaller, to small and small. Okay, what the thing come out from this thing is just one big set of idea, but comes from many ideas just through collaboration and generating wild ideas. Okay, so yeah, that is how we can try to look at this idea of the medium. The medium is just something that, of course, I give it a name because it's a substance. It's an added value that permit you to look at the project in slightly a different way. Okay, remember it's a frame and reframe. Oops, sorry. Okay, of your mindset for this thing. Okay, so yeah, so this is the basic of how we can try to look at things in the most shortest period of time. Okay, so any questions so far?
Any question from the floor?
Anything?
Is the students still there?
Sure.
I think it's interesting to look at how we can make the project become more meaningful and focus on
Yeah.
different things, because the thing is in the project brief we already stated what the program that we want, but it's very basic, like you said. It's very common to where everyone's are looking into the same things, like the outcome, and then how you solve that particular issues and whatnot. But by thinking of the medium, it will help the students to looking into a different perspective, not only as a designers, and how the project will benefit the business of the clients, and in terms of like safety, and how the project will benefit a lot of people. I think that will be something that really important, and what distinguish that what make us different from the designers that available out there.
Yeah, because okay, as simple as this. I mean, this one, like I told you, it is not a big formula. It is not something that we cannot do. Okay, but the problem is we are doing the same thing. Okay, it's something like this. Okay, Einstein have mentioned that you cannot work on the same problem on how the same question were asked. Okay, you cannot have the same mindset. It has to change. So the same thing as how you look at just now. Okay, as simple as this. When we talk about urban farming, food hall, and co-working space, the list can go on. The list can go on and on. Now, when we look at this, these are some of the things that we need to look at. We need to understand this. How does it work? What does it do? What do we have? What we can see? Okay. But by looking at the process itself, okay, so okay, this is just one narrative. This number one here is just one narrative. This is what we call scenario building. I always ask the students to present their work not from a point of view of the normal designer, what they present. Okay, this is the plan, this is the layout, this is the lobby, this is what I do, and so on and so on. No, don't tell it from the point of view of a designer. Always tell from the point of view of the end user, because the end user is the one that's going to see all this. As you go in to the food hall, okay, and then there is a urban farm. You can take your stuff, your supplies and so on. and then maybe inside there is like a coffee space, something F&B where you can try to work and all these things. Now these are all the things that only the end user would understand, because the designer is something that's that what we see. That's the normal thing. But when we look at the idea of the end user from the point of view of the narrative of the end user, then this particular medium can start to become an opportunity. Okay, remember, it's not just problem solving. We are not trying to just problem solve or maybe solving. Okay, yeah. We are trying to find opportunities. Okay. Now, this is common. We always come up with this proposal. You know, this is the view of the space. How does it like color scheme, materials, and everything? This is the solving problem. The thing that we always solve, but we never try to look at the opportunities here. These are something that can be in it. I tell you, if you talk about the narrative end user point of view, this one, instead of one, it can become, I don't know, countless zeros. Because it can be anything. But when we talk about just problem solving another space, as I say, is it a new space or a new idea? When we talk about a new space, at the end of the day, what does it look like? It's just, you know, sets of colors that we change, set of layout that we change, set of furniture that we propose, and that's it. You know, the design, you know, you have a curvy wall, a straightforward wall, protruding structures and so on, and that's it. You know, there are so limited things that we can try to do, and the worst thing is, design is very subjective. One person may like it, the other person might not like it. But why are we trying to solve only just solution? Okay, why are we just trying to look at solutions? But why can't we look at opportunities? This thing. That's why I say the medium. The medium is just a name that I told you just now. It's just a substance that, you know, we can try to make this project work. I don't know. Hopefully, by this 1 hour of a very simple explanation, you can try to look at this, you know, just slightly a different point of view. You know, sometimes the way we just have to do things, you know, instead of looking straight, you just need to look to your right and have another view. You know, it's not so much of being there and try to get, you know, just look to your right and just look differently. And that's it. You're already different. So you don't have to look at the same thing. Of course, there's some argument in terms of what you can you know, try to look at, because the list goes on. Okay, the thing that we always see, for example, of this one. This is the, you know, like I told you, there's, you know, there's 1,001 things that we can try to look at. But when we look at this one, we are looking at the same thing. But if you look at from the end user point of view, or maybe the client point of view, you start to see things differently. That's why not all clients are smart. Some clients are, you know, you need to educate them. But certain clients are just testing you guys, testing us. I would say that, in trying to see whether we know what are we doing or not. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, any questions so far? Okay.
Yep, anyone?
Yeah. Anything that you want to ask? Don't be scared. I just love questions. I don't mind being attacked and so on. Somebody can try to challenge whatever thing I'm saying. Okay. So, okay.
I just
if
have
you
a
can-
question.
Yep.
A simple question. May I know what apps you are using for your for you to use for your presentation just now?
Oh, okay. Wait, let me. Okay, the apps is called Concept Apps. This is the screen. Yeah, this is Concept Apps.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Concept. Okay, Concept App is okay. As simple as this. You can use it for free, no problem. But if the free version, you can only export in JPEG. Okay. But if you get a full version, which is about 40 ringgit, you can get PNG, SVG, DXF, and PSD. Okay. Now, if you add on another 20 ringgit, you can get PDF.
Good business minded.
Yeah. These people are so I just cannot resist all these things. And of course, they will give you basic tools. These are some of the basic tools that they have. They are the basics. Okay, but you can purchase your other tools at the price of 7 ringgit and 99 cents per tools. So if you need, but if you don't need, then you need. But if you are free with all these things. Now the best thing about this particular apps is whatever thing that you see on the screen now is it is all a vector. Okay, so let's say for example, if I export this one to SVG or PNG or even PDF, and you can blow as big as you can, and it won't break. Yeah. So and then of course they got other features as well. They got colors. They got grid type or dot type or line papers or even this one. So you can create a lot of stuff on your screen. So it's quite user friendly. Yeah. But actually, because this is just a different apps that you can try to look at. If you are an Apple user, of course, Procreate is the best. Great, but for me, I think there's a lot of things that can be explored from these apps. Everything from layering to position, and so many things that you can try to look at from these particular apps. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me just show you back the thing just now. Okay, oops, sorry. Okay, we are coming an end to our thing. Okay, so now the idea of the thing that I've mentioned just now is just very basic. We just need to get our frame and try to reframe what we understand. Okay, and then because it is from the questions or the brief itself that we can try to this one. And of course, the additional thing would be get into the context of where it is. This one would would make the things a bit more better. All right. So again, when we take a look at just now, 5 plus 5 doesn't necessarily have to be 10, but it is what plus what equals to 10 that is more important sometimes. Don't just take a look at it from one point of view. So just take a look at it from a different set of view, from this and that, to become this thing. Frame and reframe. Okay. All right. So the last quote from Steve Jobs: design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is sometimes, how it works. And it's very true. How we look at things, how, don't look at design just one way of looking at things, the way we look at design should be, it should be like design itself. It has a very non-conventional, it's not a one-way street, it's a multiple street, and so on. Then from there, then we can, we can become better designers. Not just looking at just, if we are interior designers, at the end of the day, we just know everything about interior design, and that's it. So have an open mind and try to understand, and look at design just from a different point of view. Okay. Okay. Thank you. You may reach me at some of these things that you can try to scan. This is just my simple website. Not so fancy about it, but there's something that maybe if you got any queries about me or whatever, so you can try to take a look at it and so on. All right.
Right. Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Redzwan. I think it's very helpful, for the students to generate a good idea and think outside of the box. I mean, like looking into a different things and different perspective in that sense. So we are really appreciate your sharing ideas. It is more about like design thinking rather than the outcome. Sometimes the outcome could be fantastic, but the contents of the design were rather not really being taken care of, or rather not to be carefully, considered and stuff like that. So I think this is something that the students should do lah in general project. Yep.
Sometimes when we look at things, let's say, for example, if you look at especially students' work, right? They will try to very hard for them to render this thing nicely and so on. I mean, that is normal. It's not that we don't like to look at all those things. Yes, we like to look at all those things. But the thing is, when we look back at the content, we'll see we are looking at the same thing. What's so great about it, right? That's why I'm sorry to say, sometimes when we look at the professional works, the professional interior designers or maybe the architects' work, they like to feature the same, perspective or maybe a finished work. At the end of the day, what do we learn about it? Because everything lies in the basic thing, which is the programming, okay, the idea of the project. What is it all about? What is, I'm not talking about they should know about the medium, but something else that we try to look at from a different perspective, not just from a finished point of view. Because from a finished point of view, everyone will say, oh, that's nice finishes, that's nice lighting, everything. To me, so what? What's so big deal about it? Of course, you get a good client, you get better results, right? Because they're willing to pay. But that's not the point. But what we can learn about those kind of projects, will become would make a difference. That's why for my students' work, if they just push on the nice drawings and the nice perspective, I would totally reject it, because I want to know what happens in the beginning. Let's say, for example, what is their design development? How would they develop this idea? What makes it different? That's why the medium came into place, where we can try to offer something else that we try to look at for the project.
Yep.
I would-
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
That's the only very basic reasoning that I can give you. You know,
Yeah.
the medium idea of the project is still in incubation stage at the moment. Because you know, we are still experimenting. You know, we would love to see, you know, how FCUC would try to look at it differently as well. So maybe, maybe, you know, maybe that is a positive development in our profession, and you know, in our so-called interior architecture or interior design schools. You know, it's about time that we try to collaborate rather than, you know, we try to fight each other and try to look at things from a different perspective. You know, who's the best. Those things are just too boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So we,
you know,
yeah.
we can try to get you know, some more new narrative, new ideas, new conversation, new way of looking at things. If the architects can do it, why not we?
True. Totally agreed. Yeah, so we have Miss Chua Hui today, the deputy dean. Yeah, so maybe you want to say anything before we end?
Hi, Hui.
Hi. I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Redzwan, thank you for sharing and also being very open. Okay,
Yep.
in terms of very honest, and I will say that willing to contribute to our students' learning lah. Okay.
No problem.
Yes. So we also
problem.
look forward positive collaborations between different institutions.
Yep.
So perhaps in future can be some joint projects or whatever.
Can, no problem.
Yeah. It will be
I
challenging.
think,
So in a way we can motivate our students too. I think they need to be pushed, the students.
yeah. just a slight twist to it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, if you look at the movie, you know, the best thing about movie is if you have a slight twist of the plot, that makes the difference of all the, how we look at the ending of the movie.
The
We should
unpredictable
always
one.
look, if the movie can do it, why not design? And especially why not interior design or interior architecture?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I think before we end, I would like to take a group photo. So I would like everyone to switch on your camera so that I can take it as attendance as well.
Remember attendance,
Yeah.
Yeah, attendance.
The students, please turn on your camera for a while. I have around 2 or 3 pages to screenshot.
Oh, ramainya.
I think, yeah.
No, because Hafiz the other day he told me there was only like 3 or 4 students.
The initial
Suddenly I
plan.
see, wow, oh my God, there's a lot of people.
Right, wait. Okay.
Yeah.
First page. 1, 2,
Okay.
3. Smile. All right. Next one. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. I think one dot then. Okay. So that's all.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rida. I think maybe
Okay,
in
no
future we
problem.
can invite you again.
Yep.
To, you know, like we said, maybe some collaboration project and whatever not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,